All right, hello, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back in. Come on in. This is Tonya TKO After Dark. We are putting on no airs and holding no punches. We're going to be talking very frankly. We turned on the light about why I'd rather remain single and child free. All right. Fresh brewed kombucha in hand and conversation in tow. I'm going to allow you all time to come on in. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So Tori got her blueberry kombucha. Listen, come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. So we're going to be letting our hair down and we're going to be talking, having some real serious, deep conversations because there's so many things that we need to talk about. Honestly, all right. Would I like to be a mother? Yes, of course. However, I know that I'm not using my womb as an incubator for some unworthy man's spawn so that he can use me as his receptacle for semen and have some happy accident baby pop out from these loins and combine with my DNA and become a part of my everlasting family tree. Oh, no, sir. No, sir. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Let me tell you all what I'm seeing out there in these streets, right? And I'm going to open up the phone line. I'm sorry, just giving. I had to snack between shoots because we were on for 2 hours and we're going to do another hour after dark over here. So I had to get my kombucha and a little munch, okay? What I'm seeing out here in these streets are men who just haven't done the work, who haven't done the internal work, and aren't interested in doing the internal work. Because what it is that I'm seeing is an air of, I know it all already. I know it. I know, but then don't know. Feel that they know it all already, but don't know. An extreme lack of self-awareness. I'm seeing men out here who, do I at least see myself in a relationship? I have many relationships. Long-term committed monogamous relationship. Part of the issue, and this is why we're doing this after dark so that we can talk. Part of the issue is that there are far too many of us women out there who don't fucking value ourselves. I'm just going to say it. We don't value ourselves and we think of ourselves as some sort of, I don't know. We treat ourselves like day-old potato salad that's been sitting out in the hot damn sun. And we just looking for somebody to take us home and feel that we're good enough to eat. And we're just looking for somebody to be like, oh, she's still good. She ain't fully spoiled yet. Let me take her home and eat her, right? We're looking for this validation for our worth out there in these streets. And what it is that I'm seeing out there is I'm seeing a lot of men who just really are not, they're not there. They're not there. They're not there emotionally. They're not there mentally. They're not there psychologically, spiritually. They're not on top of their mental health. They're not on top of their damn physical health. They don't want to go to the damn doctor. They don't want to get some of their mental health issues and chemical imbalances checked, sought after, or to take the supplementation to balance them. They could have all types of things going on with them, and they don't want to do what they need to do to maintain their mental health. They want to come in some broken, damaged vessel that you got to hold up to the public with all you have to put all of your spackle on the outside and your shellac. Meanwhile, on the inside is all of these damn cracks that they don't want to look after. They got there's a lot of undiagnosed mental health ailments, chemical imbalances, is it brain chemistry disorders, brain disorders out there that they don't want to look into. They don't want to look into. They don't want to admit that they have an issue. They don't want to admit that they have a problem. And they're looking for you to be their nirvana healing. They're looking for you to be their healing spa. They're looking for you to be their healing spa. And it's like, what is it that you're bringing to this situation? Listen, we got far too many men out there. Listen, personality disorders as well. We have far too many men out there who are not willing. They're not willing to do what it is that they need to do to make themselves husband materialists. One man called in and said they're not even thinking about what it is that they can do to make themselves husband material. Not only do women think that the men are the prize, but the men are thinking that they're a damn prize too. And they're thinking that just them showing up should be good enough for you. That, listen, people, listen, you have no idea. You have no idea what is going on behind the scenes in a lot of these homes. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of women out there who are perpetrating a damn fraud. They're perpetrating a damn fraud because they want to put this show forward because they want to show off about their new damn handbag. Man, their damn accessory. They want to show everybody, look, I'm better than the average bear because I was able to get a man to commit to me, at least publicly. But all that glitters is not gold, and I'm seeing a lot of women who are putting forth relationships. Because I've seen it. How many of you have seen it in your own families? We're going to do a survey. If you have seen it in your own families, put up the number 1. Where you have an auntie, a cousin, a friend, a sister, or somebody who have a man who ain't shit, and she got him up on Facebook talking about how happy she is and this, that, and the other for a man that behind the scenes is not doing what it is that he needs to do to be the man at the house, the husband material, whatever the case may be. But they up on social media trying to show off for these other women about their handbag. Their man. And behind it, so look, all of these ones going up because you know what it is. I've seen it myself. I've seen it. And it's like the more profuse they are publicly, the worse things are behind the scenes because they're trying so desperately and so hard to convince other people rather than, look, in and out of rehab, but he looks good. It's like, listen, I personally am not willing to do, there was no number 2 in that survey, it was only a 1. There was no number 2. Because if you didn't see it, then you didn't see it, but it was just really for 1, right? Girlfriend on the side, cheating, right? If you're truly happy, why are you constantly talking about how happy you are? Why are you not just being happy? Exactly. Latoya saying, I used to be that woman who designs the same one and he's a pastor. Yeah, so it's like, but listen, I am not willing to do what it would take to be with the typical dude out there and just have somebody to show off for the camera. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to sit up inside some house where some man goes off to his room and you hear him in there giggling on the phone talking about it's a work meeting. I ain't willing. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to be in a situation where I'm trying to converse with my partner and he's playing games, got different answers and things are switching up and things just not making sense and you gotta betray yourself to be in that situation, suspend reality. That we're gonna do next survey is gonna be number 2. So listen, this is gonna be the vote for 2. If you have as a woman ever had to suspend reality what you knew was damn reality. If you have ever had to suspend belief in order to maintain the peace in a relationship with a man, so that you had to betray what you in your heart of hearts and your instincts and mind knew was the damn truth, but you had to suspend reality long enough to be able to maintain whatever little bit of happiness and joy you could have in that moment. So you had to be like, you know what, I'm gonna choose not to believe what I know. Tell me, put up the number 2. Have you ever had to suspend your belief, betray yourself, betray what you know? Put up a 2. Put up a 2. All right, so the 2s are coming in. Because the only way that you could continue that lie is to lie to yourself. And I'm just not willing. If this is something that you have never done, there's no need to vote. Because this is not about how, whatever it is. This is about who has been there. This is not about those who have not ventured into those ponds. Exactly. 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 Someone's saying they feel exposed. Listen, there's so many of us out there who have done it. And part of the reason that we do it is because we are in society with a group of people who have not been taught to be accountable for their own actions and their behaviors, and they're taught to go out there and run roughshod through women. And we're the ones who are given these damn baby dolls and all of this other shit when we're little. We're given all of these little baby dolls and all of these accoutrements to work on relationships and be mothers and be all of this stuff. We're given all of these things because our identity is tied to how good of a relationship we can be in. Meanwhile, boys are taught to have worth outside of relationships. They're taught to have autonomy, to be able to navigate on their own. This is what they're taught. Meanwhile, girls are taught to have worth in relation to these men. Let me tell you all right now. The average man does not want to be in a relationship with a woman. Well, hell, he doesn't even want to be in a relationship with a damn man. It's even worse in the damn male gay community because sex is so rampant. Let me tell you, the average man does not want to be in a relationship with a woman. And there's a lot of men out there who are going to lie to you and tell you all types of stuff. But the average man, I'm going to say this because we're talking TKO after dark right now. The average man is very animalistic. I hate to have to say this like this. I don't want to say they're savage, because I think where it comes to savages, I think that there's a human aspect to a savage, right? But I think animals, they don't have the awareness. The average man is very animalistic, governed by his urges and really resonating at a vibration that is much lower than the typical woman. I said it. I did. I said it. I said it. And they don't want to be in relationships with women because they don't want to give up their animalistic ways. They don't want to give up being able to just spread their seed willy-nilly. They don't want to give up being able to come and go as they please. They don't want to give up not having to answer to anyone. They don't want to give up not having to look out for anyone. They don't want to give up their freedoms. They don't want to civilize themselves. The average man is uncivilized. And I hate to say it that way, because there's a lot of men who are in denial about who and what it is that they really are. And they don't realize that they're uncivilized. You know, it's like all of those different fables that you hear. The scorpion and the frog, the snake and the hunter, the wolf and the hunter. And the stories are all the same. The stories are all the same. The scorpion rides on the back of the frog to get across the pond, and the moment that they get across, the scorpion stings the frog and kills it. Because that is the nature of men, right? And it's sad because it's like, you talk to men and there's a vapidity that exists. There's a vapidity. They don't get it. They don't know how it is that they are. And the worst part about it, I say the worst part about it is, oh, look, there's some people out there who know about Anansi. Okay, all right. Anansi was a spider who was told in a lot of Caribbean, I believe in African folklore, right? There's a vapidity that exists, but they just don't get it. And the worst part about it is that they think that they do. They think they know so much. Oh my God. They think that they are in a position to be some moral authority, some sort of authority, and they just really aren't. They really aren't. You would be surprised. I was talking to an associate of mine. Who felt that he should start doing podcasts on how men can get women. And I said to him, well, where are the examples of the healthy relationships with women that you've had? Where's the example of these healthy relationships? He had no examples. He's very toxic, he's toxic-minded. But yet he felt that he was some sort of authority to go out there. And the stuff that I'm talking to him about, he was like, oh, I didn't know that. No studying, no reading, no education, just a bunch of broken relationships laying in tandem. And then he feels that he's an authority to go out there and start talking. And the sad part about it is that as I was talking to him, I was like, you know, I was trying to explain to him in a way that he can understand. And I was like, you know, the difference between, I was like, you know, there are men out there who like virginal women. And there are men out there who like a woman who has experience, right? These are two different types of men, right? But there's a difference between a woman getting ran through, right? Because there could be a woman who has, let's say, 20 partners, right? The woman who got ran through is the woman that the men just came in and busted their nuts inside of her and tossed her aside. The woman who had agency over her own body and had sex with the 20 men, and she was in these situations with the 20 men, learning what it is that she likes, how she likes to be touched, the depth that she likes to be penetrated, how she likes to be penetrated, the motion that she enjoys, the rhythm she enjoys, what it takes to get her over the edge. And I was like, there's a difference between a woman being ran through and a woman having agency and having experience and choosing and consenting to be with partners that she uses to now a hoe. Listen, there's a lot of definitions for what makes a hoe, but I'm talking about a woman who listen, I'm not talking about the double standard, because listen, and this was the analogy that I used, right? Because the woman who has been ran through, she's been used for men's pleasure, and then they toss her aside. The woman who has had the same number of sex partners, who has the experience, who knows what it takes to make her climax, the difference is in who has the governance over that experience, right? And I said to him, there's a difference between a man who has had a lot of broken relationships in the past and a man who has had good relationships, right? And this is what I said to him. And I said, because you seem very inexperienced. You seem very inexperienced when it comes to relationships, you know, healthy relationships. Yet you've had a lot of relationships. But where is the healthy ones that stand out, that shows that you know how to make a woman happy, right? That shows that you know how to please a woman. And you know what his response to me was? Listen to his response. This is his response. This married woman once came to me. I met her at the club, and she just wanted to F. She had a husband that was paying all of the bills and taking care of her and treated her like a queen. But she came to me and said, listen, I need a real man who knows how to have sex with me because my husband is not a real man. That was his response. It's like I gave that whole analogy. He didn't get it. He didn't get it. He started talking about some woman who wanted him for his penis. because he knew how to please her physically. And I tried to explain to him, it's not about how you please a woman physically. Do you know what it takes to please a woman emotionally? To be in a space with a woman that you are able to work in relationship with her and be able to give her what she truly needs. Then I tried to use a salad, meat, and starch example. And I'm like, and I said, part of the reason that I'm not vegan, I need starch. I cannot feel full without starch. No matter how much veggies I eat, if I don't have starch, I won't feel full. 5 minutes later, I'll be back in the kitchen eating. I need that starch to satiate me. And I tried to explain to him, penis is not enough. Emotion is not enough. It takes a full plate. And he sat there and he was looking at me, and I just thought of the analogy of the spider and the frog, the wolf and the huntsman. So basically, there was this hunter that was going to shoot a wolf, right? And a good Samaritan came and stopped the hunter and took the wolf and hid the wolf in its knapsack and ran into the forest with the wolf. When the good Samaritan took the wolf out of the knapsack, the wolf jumped on him and ate him. Why? Because that's the nature of a wolf. So when I was talking to this man, his mind, he just didn't get it. He couldn't grasp it. And I was just like, I just felt sorry for him. Because this is a man that's going out there to now create some sort of damn podcast, but he doesn't have what it takes to really satisfy a woman. He's not willing to do he's not willing to do what it takes. He's not willing to do what it takes. And someone is saying starch is vegan though. Yeah, it's true. But I felt that well, maybe that's not the right word, because yes, you're right, it is vegan. But when I remember when I wanted to become vegan, I could not give up the breads and the pastas and all that other stuff. So I don't know what that is called. Gluten, I don't know. I need gluten. I love gluten. It tastes good, right? All right. So, and then Luva is saying, but women are reinforcing that narrative when they solicit in the club for sex. I don't know what you mean. It's unfortunate. So you see, so yes, I like pizza. I don't love just any type of cheese. I like pizza. Pizza is the reason that I won't become vegan. I don't know what is the reason that I can't just eat vegetables and I need starch. But nonetheless, right? So, I was gonna say something, but then I lost my train of thought. It was about let me read what was going on. Let's see. Okay, so yes, that's what I wanted to say. I can imagine that this woman came to her husband and she tried to express to her husband how she likes sex to be done. And in his ego, because do you think that woman wanted to be out in the club getting some miscellaneous dick from some nigga she don't know? You think she wanted to be out there like that? I'm sure she went to her man first. But in his egoic state, he probably thought, oh, I'm paying the bills. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, so she should be satisfied. Meanwhile, he's not giving her the dicking that she needs, the dicking that she deserves. He's not giving it to her, right? And so the guy that I was talking to, he's not able to really fully emotionally connect with a woman. He's not really able to give of himself as a man, right? And so he's just out there just giving away miscellaneous penis. And at the end of the day, what does he really have? But the sad part about it is that in the vibration that the typical man resonates in, that's good enough for many of them to just be some stud, just giving away penis. That's the area that they vibrate at, and it's sad. It's sad. And so listen, I I've talked for 25 minutes, so let's open up the phone lines and hear from you all. I want to hear what you all have to say. Let's talk about this, and let's talk about it and get down to the bottom. All right. Phone lines are open. 323-488-3149. I want to hear what you all have to say. Have I ever tried ancient grains? I don't know what ancient grains are. You talking about quinoa? You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
My name is Angel.
Hi, Angel. Talk to us.
I'm doing fine. I'm hearing a little echo in the background, but I lost you a few minutes ago. My internet went out, but you were talking about the men and how basically they're so lazy in their emotions and trying to find themselves and discover themselves and kind of tap into what they need to tap into to satisfy a real woman.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, it could be systematic, it could be hereditary, growing up. There's different things that kind of contribute to these things, so you never know. So I will give them benefit on that part. However, you have some that are just flat out.
They're what?
They've been around their friends, and these are older men I've dealt with that they are in the headspace of like a young guy, like a teenager, like you said, they're not mature enough. They don't care. They don't care to do the work on themselves. They're just like, okay, well, as long as I get satisfaction of what I need to get to, then whatever. I'll suffice you enough to be like, okay, yeah, he's into me or some type of thing, and
yeah, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Give
me 1 moment. I just need to respond to someone in the comments, right? I just need to respond.
Okay.
There is a man in the comments who is saying that if a woman came to a man and told her what it takes to please her, that he would most likely do it. And unfortunately, this just goes to show the lack of awareness that men have. Let's do a survey for the ladies in the audience. So the answers are going to be 3 and 4, right? Ladies, if you have ever gone to a man and told him what it takes to please you, right? What it takes to please you, and he did it with no ego, no nothing, no having to go wait a few weeks and go read up on some message boards to see other women say it or other men say that they've done it. If he has, so yes is going to be 3, no is going to be 4. So if you have ever gone to a man and told him what it takes to specifically to please you, and he did it, put up a 3. If he has not, put up a 4. Okay, you're back on the air, so go ahead. Why don't you take the survey real quick?
Yeah.
I hear an echo. I hear an echo too. Is your computer up, or you got some headphones or something?
It's all about. Yeah. Well, can you hear me now?
I hear you, but I also hear a little bit of an echo. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, like I said, it goes back to a man's maturity. Even at an older age, past their 45, they can be so immature, and like I said, they don't want to do the work. They're so lazy, and as you said, it's like a bump on the log. Just go to work, come home, same routine. Pump, 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 pump in the bed, and then the same thing the next day. And you're like, okay, what? Like you said, the fries. You was talking about the fries. The real thing that we don't understand, a lot of us don't understand, is they are not the fries. We are the damn fries. They don't recognize this, but it's up to us to make them understand that, because we're sitting here taking care of home. We're in our children for them, for us, I should say, not for them, for the world.
Yes.
And they're kind of unappreciative, and they expect a woman to do and be in a certain role, because they think that because, okay, I'm working, especially now because of the COVID, and a lot of women like myself are stuck at home with the children. They're like, okay, well, you can't go here and you can't do this and do this. But little do you know, I'm taking care of everything like I've been doing, have been doing, and will continue to do, because that's me. I'm a mother. period.
Right. So you know
I work
what?
from home now.
Besides the question that I asked you, what I want to make sure that you got to say everything that you wanted to say before you called in, because we're up to almost 5 minutes
Yes.
now.
Okay.
And so Tina is saying I never should have to. You see, that is a mistake that a lot of people make. Nobody's in your head. Nobody has your exact life experiences. You've got to teach people how to love you in the way that you need to be loved. You have to teach people how to communicate with you in the ways that you need to be communicated with. Stop expecting people to have some crystal ball. Make your relationships easier. So go ahead. Make sure that you say everything that you needed to say, because we're going to jump off the phone now.
Okay. Yeah, you're correct, and I don't have any, complaints about that situation. But I have in the past, before I got married, dealt with a man, an immature man, but the man that I'm married to now, I don't have that issue. I was just speaking on for other women around me in my life. But no, not in this previous. It was just something different. But now it's just like, he's very supportive, and
Okay.
he treats
Well,
me
you know
like a
what?
queen and all
Thank you
these things.
so much.
But
We've
for
gone
the
over
women
to
who
six.
are out there,
Listen. We've gone into almost 7 minutes now. So let me let you jump off the phone. Thank you so much for calling in.
okay.
Thank you. All right. So listen. I asked that survey, right? And when I asked the survey, 3 and 4, right? If you've told a man what it'll take to please you and he didn't do it, there were a lot of women that came in, and this is the stuff that we're talking about. Listen, make sure that your computer is turned down. I'm going to come to you in a moment. Just be ready to be on the air, okay? So there's a lot of women who answered number 4, right? But I wasn't even talking about the regular, just, because men don't seem to be able to make the correlation between supporting and caring for, taking care of the emotional stuff inside of the home, with being able to have you open yourself and be juicy and ready and available for him, right? So how many women out there, right? How many women out there have told a man, so we're going to do 3 and 4 again, right? In terms of what it takes to please you, have told a man what it is that you need as a woman. You told him what it is that you need as a woman. I need help with the dishes. I need you to sweep this floor. I need you to pick up the kids and make sure that the kids are ready, are washed and in bed by the time I get home. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. The stuff that exists around the house, in the periphery, not even in the bedroom. If you came to him and told him what it is that you needed from him, right? And he did it without being his ego. He did it. Yes is 3. No is 4. He just didn't take it seriously because he didn't see how that related to sex, right? How it related to, or if he doesn't see the direct benefit, oh, how is this going to get me more pussy? All right. So you're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Amy.
Hi, Amy. So what is your response today?
So I was gonna say I agree with everything you're saying. I'm not married, but I have a lot of married friends that are also a little bit older. And once you start hanging out and you start talking, you realize a lot of these women they're literally single parents in their own marriage homes. It's like they're doing almost everything, and they're working on top of that. And I mean, I've witnessed where the man even like plug in the rice cooker or put 2 cups of rice and 3 cups of water in the rice cooker is a problem.
Okay, hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. Queen Nzinga is saying, I can see you telling a guy what you like sexually, but to tell him how to love you on a mental level, he should know that already. No. And for any woman or man out there that expects for anybody to automatically already know them. There's a lot of people out there who feel that it is romantic. So what ends up happening, right? We meet a person and we feel this kismet connection with them. And we're like, oh, this is kismet. This person, it feels like I've known this person forever. So then you just take for granted and think that if this person truly loves you, that they'll know everything about you and how to please you. Wipe that out of your head right now, because that is a relationship killer 101. We have to teach people. We have to teach people how to love us in the ways that we need to be loved. We have to teach people what's important to us in the ways that it's important to us. So if you think that anybody should know anything about you, automatically remove that right now, and your relationships will improve and get better. All right, so please continue forward. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just had to address that before it went past.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, they can't even sometimes follow basic instructions. And me growing up, and I'm gonna call out my own dad. This man still today would.
I need you to talk louder again, because you're too low. Speak up.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, even my own father, even till today, even he leaves a single dirty spoon in the sink. Can you, I'm like, if I live with someone that leaves a single dirty spoon in the sink when everything is already clean, we're gonna kill each other.
Yes.
So it's sometimes I'm there and I hear people that are married with kids, and they on Facebook, on Instagram, social media, when you go outside at events, they look like they're like the perfect couple, but when you go inside their home, sometimes you get so uncomfortable that you don't even want to go visit them in their own home. And
yes,
I think that's the reality that a lot of women
And so,
don't
what you were
speak
saying,
about.
yes, you were saying that there's some men out there that wouldn't even put rice inside of the rice cooker and turn it on. Put rice in the rice cooker, put in a little bit of water and turn it on. That the woman asked them to do this, so that she has to come in from work and then have to go do that as well. So it's like there's
My own father.
Oh,
My
okay.
own father.
And then exactly.
From the dryer or put in washer to dry it. He won't do it. He's like, that's not my job. I think sometimes they think what's masculine. I think sometimes they just confuse that they've been allowed to get away with so much for so long.
Yes.
That just comfortable, and then the women just overwork themselves to death.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate your point of view and calling in.
All right. Well, thank you. You have a good evening. I'll continue watching on YouTube.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
So the answers are coming in. The answers are coming in. And this is what's going on out there. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things. Listen, hire a maid. There are some women in the relationship who are thought of as being a maid, so that when a man pays the bills, he feels that he has hired you as his maid, and that there is nothing that he needs to do. Not even wash his own spoon, not fill up the dishwasher, not even put rice inside of the rice cooker while you've been doing whatever it is that you've been doing all day. He will not help you in one single way. You tell him what it is that you need in the bed, and he's looking at you like maybe you some sort of freak that started doing some stuff with some other men, and he doesn't know who you are anymore because you used to be innocent and all this other stuff, and you can't get pleased. You can't get pleased psychologically. You can't get pleased mentally. He's not giving you what it is that you need, but yet his ass is out there talking about going and finding some other woman. You can't please the one woman that you have. This is what I'm talking about, the ignorance and the delusion of men. If somebody asked me about polygamy, please, are you effing kidding me? Polygamy? Mother effer, you can't even please one woman, let alone four. What are you talking about? It's like you want to be out there talking about you need another woman. You haven't even mastered the one that you have. She's fucking unhappy. She got her damn vibrator while you at work laying there trying to give herself some satisfaction. She's out there over there talking to other men and talking to women to fill an emotional void. And you just coming in and out. And you talking about going and finding a side piece. Your main piece ain't happy. Somebody want me to talk about polygamy. The average man, listen, if you ask the average man says that he does not understand women. And the thing about it is that it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre because women, we talk so much and we tell them what it is that we need. And they're still sitting there. I remember I had a friend, right? I had a friend who was with this man. And she would continue to tell this man over and over and over what it is that she needed. Listen, this is what I need. This is what I need you to do. The man would be like, ay, ¿por qué tú estás? Ay, mujer, por favor, hablando, mujer, ay. That's how he was. She left him. And guess what? Then he was there, oh, I don't know what I did wrong. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué fue? Mi mujer se fue. Oh. He's saying he doesn't know why she left. She tried to talk to him, and he was like, oh, you're always talking. And then she left him, and he's like, I have no clue why she left. But then it's like you ask them, what did she used to nag you about? And they're like, oh, she used to always nag me about XYZ. She always wanted me to do garage work. She always wanted me to sweep. She was always nagging me. And I'm saying, okay, well, did you try those things? It's like they don't get it. It's like you will sit there and you will tell them over and over and over again, I need you to rub my feet. I need a back rub. I need you to fill up the dishwasher. I need you to take your dishes from the sink, put it in the dishwasher, put in a little bit of soap, and turn it on. I need you to help me out. And they'll be like, and it's like you talk and it just goes in and becomes some numb noise on the outside. And then you leave them and they're like, I don't know why she left. She left me. I didn't do anything to her. You're right, you didn't do anything. You didn't do what it is that she needed. And she got tired of saying it over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? And then when you leave, they're like, I don't know why she left me. Meanwhile, she spent years or months nagging. What is nagging? Somebody tell me the definition of nagging. Is there any, I would like to hear from a person with a penis. Is there an XY chromosome person out there who can explain nagging to me? I want to hear what your definition of nagging is. Go and throw those thumbs up on the video. My cash app is $Tonya TKO. The PayPal the link is inside of the description of the video. I want to hear from you all. So let me give a shout out. So Jerry Vick sent $20. Thank you so much. Tina Lynch sent 15. So thank you. That's on Cash App. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the love. Thank you. So I need an XY chromosome person to call in and tell me what his definition of nagging is. Because men will consider nagging a woman saying the same thing over and over and over, continuing to say the same thing over and over. But I'm like, have you ever wondered why she's continuing to say the same thing over and over? It's like they just don't get it. Instead, they come up with some derogatory term to have to describe having to repeat your damn self. Instead of saying she had to repeat her damn self to me over and over again. She had to repeat herself to me over and over again. She had to repeat her needs to me over and over again. They call it nagging. Just go ahead and give it a derogatory term, nagging. The number is 323-488-3149. The number is not in the description. Exactly. Because rather than saying she had to repeat herself over and over, they rather just say, oh, she was nagging me. But there's a reason why she's saying it over and over. 323-488. Where's my admins? My admins are in here writing about nagging. 323-488-3149. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hi, Tonya. This is Angelica.
Hi, Angelica. So talk to us. We're talking. We
Hi,
just
how are you?
TKO after dark. I'm doing well.
Yes. I just wanted to say about basically, I think that men in our generation, I'm not married, but I do have friends that are married, and
Mhm.
they talk about their situations with their husbands. And I noticed that men are naturally selfish. I don't know if they're being raised to be that way, and because we live in such a male-dominated society, our view frame as women is always taught how to please a man, how to please a man, but the man doesn't know how to please us. And I think that a lot of men, if their needs aren't being met, and if it's not centered around what they need, then they don't think it's important. And in a marriage, people like to say a marriage should be 50-50, but in reality, it's not. A woman is doing most of the work in terms of taking care of the household, taking care of the household, taking care of the kids, going to work. And what honestly I feel that it's such a disservice to men
Mhm.
that the only thing that they feel that they need to provide is money and physical protection. That's it. For a man to feel as though that is his only contribution to a marriage, it diminishes your capability as a man. A
Mhm.
man should be a provider, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, physically. And I feel as though men think that if they only have those two things intact, providing financially and providing like physical protection, then that's all they have to do. And I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of the times when a marriage doesn't work, who do they always blame?
The
They
woman.
blame the woman,
Mhm.
not the man.
Mm-mm.
And honestly, I cannot speak for all men because I am a black woman. I do notice this trope within our community of black men and black women. We're always taught to, please the men and do all this and do all that and forget your needs. So that's the problem. When
Mhm.
you forget your needs, the marriage falls apart.
Mhm.
It's not just the man's needs, it's the woman's needs as well. And
Yes.
my other thing is, who are these people raising these men to be so selfish? To the point where the last caller was talking about her father, how her father couldn't even put some rice in a rice cooker. It's like, are you
Yeah.
serious? No offense to her father. No offense to her father. But my father's Caribbean, we're Haitian. And my father, honestly, he is a rarity because he knows how to cook, he knows how to clean, he knows how to do laundry. When my mom is sick, he'll cook and he'll clean and he'll do laundry.
Yeah.
And
You
it's,
hold on. Hold on. When your mother's sick, well, what is he doing when
yeah,
she ain't sick?
huh?
What is he doing when she's not sick?
He actually does cook. He,
Okay.
he really does.
Okay.
Regardless of whether she's sick or not,
Because you
he
said
cooks.
when she's sick.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that just comes to my mind. But yes, when she's sick, and when she's not sick, he cooks, and it's like, wow, because most Caribbean men, most African men, heck, even most Black American men, they don't cook. So to me, it's like, wow, and I think it's all in the training. And honestly, I feel as though a lot of our community, we view the woman and the wife as a maid.
Yeah, you know what?
We
Hold
view
on.
her,
I need to address something. So hold that thought. We view them as a maid. Listen,
yeah.
listen. Let's talk, people. Let's talk, right? Let's talk. Um, okay. A man knowing how to cook and a man cooking are very different things. So he can know how, but does he do it? Yes,
Yes, he does.
most Caribbean men know how to cook. Yes. But are most Caribbean men cooking? There are many
No.
African men that know how to cook, but are they cooking? Is it a special occasion thing? Is it a daily thing? Is he cooking daily? Because if a child needs to eat 3 meals a day, is he cooking one and a half of those meals each day? So yeah, well, okay, we know that every once in a while, because listen, my father's Caribbean. I love when my father would cook. But was he cooking daily? No, he was
You have a
not.
point there.
He was not cooking daily. My father did not cook daily. My mother cooked daily. And my father, though he knows how to cook, continue forward, Angelica.
Right.
Continue forward.
Okay. I do think that, our community looks at women as a maid instead of a life partner. And I think that we raise a lot of, no shade to the Caribbean women and the Black women in the chat or, even out there watching the video, but I think it's the mothers kind of raising their sons to view their women that way. And I want to make a vow to my son. I want him to be able to be self-sufficient, and to be able to contribute. Because this is a partnership. It's a teamwork. It's not about you. Because the wife sets the precedence of the household. If she's happy, everything else flows. And if it doesn't, then it's the cracks in the marriage. Because it takes two to make each other happy, not just, one person putting in all the effort. You can't have one person putting in 95% and another person puts in 5. It's not going to work that way.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's all I have to say.
Okay. Well, you know what? Thank you so much. Jump back into the comments and speak with these people. The comments are going crazy.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Is it really? Okay.
Yes, there's a battle now going on between African and Caribbean men and who cooks more or less.
Listen. They both have very similar attributes, so they cook, not as much as the women do. Trust me, the women take the bulk of it. More
Listen,
than 90%.
and I love African men. I do. However,
I do too. I'm very partial to the Nigerians, but I was like, I don't know.
Because when it comes to household duties, I would say many Nigerian men are taught that they just don't need to do it. If they're single, they should know how to do it. But once they're in a relationship, that is no longer their domain. Now they're paying. They paying, and you their maid that bust it wide open for them at night, no matter how little or much they help you during the day.
Right, and can I just say one more thing I think is really pertinent?
Sure.
The part about how, the father wasn't washing the dishes, and you said how men don't understand how the washing of the dishes leads to intercourse. Well, I hope that there are men in this chat, hearing what I have to say, because there's actually a connection to it. When a woman comes home from work and she's really, really tired, and she sees that there's dishes in the sink, she's like, oh my gosh, here's another thing that I have to do. But if the husband takes some time out of his day, if he comes home early and he sees, wow, there's some dishes in the sink, let me do it so my wife doesn't have to do it. He thought enough of her. He was thoughtful enough to say, man, she's got a lot of load on her. Let me lighten that load for her. So in her mind as a woman, she goes, oh my God, he washed the dishes for me. That was so thoughtful. He's seen that I was so stressed and that I had so much things on my plate. That's really thoughtful of him.
What the fuck? Excuse me, you're gonna make me start cursing out loud. What are we talking about right now? Because when did it become her sole job and responsibility to do the dishes so that when his black ass washes some goddamn dishes, now all of a sudden he's done a favor for her instead of as a grown person cleaning up the house that he fucking lives in? Come on now, don't make me snap. Don't make me snap. But listen, we've been on for our time limit, so we've actually gone over. So thank you so much for calling in. But you know what? It's a lot of us feel that way. It's like, first of all, I don't feel that because you see, far too many men are so transactional. You're on the air. Make sure that your computer is turned down and be ready to go live when I come back to you, okay? There's so many men out there who are so transactional that they're like, I washed this dish. Where's the punani? Where is it now? Pum pum on demand. I washed the plate. See? I washed the plate last week and you didn't give me no booty. So it's like, It's like if you're living with grown people, listen, you two grown people living together. He's not doing you a favor by washing the dishes. He's a grown person helping to maintain the cleanliness of the home that you both live in. It's like, so she's supposed to come home and be like, I'm so grateful you washed the dishes for me. No, son. Listen, you're a grown man. If you're washing the dishes, you're washing the dishes because you want to maintain the cleanliness around here. Ugh. All right, you're on the air live. What's your name?
My name is Brian.
Oh, we got an XY chromosome person on the line. You're a man?
Yes, I'm a man, a biological man.
Okay, great. Thank you. So talk to us, Brian. What's your feedback this evening?
So I'm a little bit confused. You know, I've watched your lives and followed you, and I don't know what to make of the perspective. So on one hand, you promote traditionalism, kind of traditional gender relationships, but on the other hand, you're talking about the 50-50 shit. That you got a man, you got the roles that a man's supposed to do, and you got a role that a woman is supposed to do. But then you want to come back and say there's some 50-50 thing going on.
Who said what? Wait, I'm confused. I'm confused as to what you're talking about. First of all, you seem angry for some reason. You said your name is Brian?
My name is Brian, yeah.
Yeah, tell me, what is it that's upsetting you now, Brian? Because you sound upset about something.
No, I mean, so you were talking about nagging, right?
Yes, nagging.
And you were talking about these demands and all that.
Uh-huh.
And the problem that I have is that there is some kind of confusion in terms of gender relationships, in terms of what the gender roles are.
Okay.
So the thing is that we're in a moment right now in our society where gender roles are upended. So you got women who are behaving like men, and you got men who are behaving like women.
Okay. So
women are confused about what women are confused about. Women are confused about what they want from a man.
I think you're the one that's confused. So let's talk about your confusion, okay? What is it that you're confused about, Brian?
I'm not confused about anything.
Well, baby, when you called in, you said that you were confused, so I'm only repeating your words back to you. Are you having trouble remembering what you said? You said you were confused. So talk to us about what you're confused about.
I'm not having trouble at all.
I'm gonna put you on mute. For one of the things that you're not gonna do is you're not gonna loud talk me, okay? Because I'm not putting loud talk energy out there. I'm not loud talking you. You're gonna control yourself. You understand what I'm saying? You're on mute right now. I will take you off of mute. We are at 58 minutes and 37 seconds. Anybody can rewind this to when this male person came on the phone and said that he was confused. And so I'm asking him to describe what it is that he's confused about. And then now all of a sudden, he's confused about the fact that he called in confused. I'm going to take you off of mute, but I need you to be in control of yourself. And if you're not, I'm going to release the phone call. You're back on the air now, Brian. What is it that, if you don't remember being confused, then we could just move on.
I'm confused about the expectations that you have.
Okay, so then let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, okay? And you see, we can have a conversation. This is what I'm here for, to have conversations. But I'm not here to be manhandled and talked over or belittled, okay? So,
I'm not trying to do any of those things.
Listen, whether a person is trying doesn't necessarily depict what it is that is occurring, okay? I don't try to be sexy, but hey, it just happens. It just exudes. But so listen, so let's talk. There's a difference, right? There's a difference. A man has to come inside of a relationship with more than just money. This is not about a man paying all of the bills and then all of a sudden he feels that his wife is a maid that does not need any type of emotional, mental, psychological support from her mate. And it is not listen, if there is a man that wants for all of the cleaning, all of the cooking to fall on his wife, there's going to be a lot of things that he's going to need to do to support her so that she can be able to do those things. Because a woman does not have an endless supply. It's like that we have to pick and choose our battles, right? If there's a man who expects for his woman to be just like, so he could just put any amount of dishes inside of the sink, any amount of especially once they have children, that he feels that he can also add to all of the mess without helping, this is going to be a woman that is depleted at the end of the day. And then he's going to expect for her to then also turn around and be able to perform porn star level sex scenes in the middle of the night. And she's exhausted from the whole entire day. So each man is going to have to be able to get to know his woman and know what type of support she needs in the ways that she needs it. And if he has that much money, right, then there may be a need to bring in a person who is a housekeeper to be able to assist with some of the things that are outside of the scope of what it is that she's able to do. Do you understand that?
I mean, I understand that clearly, yeah.
Okay, so like I said, in my household, my father knew how to cook, or my father knows how to cook. But my father cooked very rarely for us because my mother did the bulk of the cooking, right? Now, there's a difference between having a relationship with a person, having a relationship with a woman who you support emotionally, psychologically. You rub her feet, you rub her back, you allow her to go out and get pampered, you let her go to the spa and those sorts of things, versus having a woman who's chained to the house, chained to the stove, and chained to the sink. Because when she's chained to those things, she doesn't have the repletion of her feminine energy to be able to pour out onto her family because she's depleted. She's depleted. And far too many men think all they have to do is bring the credit card and that's it. That's all that she needs. We're talking about women not being satisfied in the bedroom. Bringing home the money and paying the bills is not going to be able to lay the pipe in the way that she needs to have the pipe laid, to have that taco nyammed on in the way that she needs her taco nyammed, for her to be touched in the ways that she needs to be touched. Those are things that her man has to invest the time in doing. Paying the bills is a convenience that allows her to be able to rest in her feminine so that she doesn't have to be out there working. However, being inconsiderate, like you can't take your spoon and put in the dishwasher, that you just have to put a dirty spoon inside of the sink so that roaches can now latch onto it. It's like it's in everybody's best interest to make sure that they clean up after themselves and that they're not being inconsiderate. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I would say I think that, I mean, this is 2020, you know what I'm saying? And I think that people are operating in a different kind of way. You know, you got some men who are kind of still stuck in the traditional roles, but, you know, women have done a whole lot to communicate their psychological, emotional needs to men. So, I mean, so this is not like we're talking about 1950. I mean, we're in a whole different milieu, you know what I mean? So the question is, I mean, what kind of men are you dealing with who are just totally, you know, separated from your emotional life and your mentality and all that kind of stuff, where, you know, they think that they have to bring to the table, you know, is money and penis.
You know what? I'm sorry, but this is coming from the same man who I had to put on mute because you were over talking me, getting loud and aggressive on the phone, even came on the phone using profanity in our conversation. And then you're going to ask, who are these men, when you have presented yourself as a man who has no problem loud talking a woman?
I asked the question, who are these men?
Apparently, you are these men. Apparently, because you came on the phone very aggressive with me, and I didn't deserve that. I didn't come at you that way. You came on the phone over talking me, using profanity, getting loud with me. I had to put you on mute. You started over talking me so much. And then now you're going to start talking about some other men? Let's look at you first. Let's look at you.
No, I didn't use profanity
Yes,
with you.
you did. You said this 50-50 shit. That's what you said to me. That's how you came on the phone. You talking this 50-50 shit. That's what you said. And it's like, if you're not going to be self-aware, then at least know yourself. Know yourself. Before you start trying to go out there talking about who are these men, because now you want to try to shift the blame on who these women are choosing. I didn't choose you on this phone line, but you still came on here using profanity in this conversation.
But I'm not using profanity now.
No, you're not, because I had to put you on mute and let you know that if you continued your behavior, I was going to release the phone call. I appreciate you changing your stance and being more in the mode of communicating. But when you came on this line, you did not come on the line the way that you are right now. I had to step out of my feminine and get very masculine with you in order to get you to calm down. And I don't think, and you see, it's like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like men want women to be feminine, but when we are, you're very masculine and very abrasive with us, so much so that we then have to step out of our feminine and become masculine back. And we don't have the opportunity to rest in our feminine. Because if I was soft on this line, if I was in my feminine on this phone call with you, this phone call would have been you would have run roughshod through this call.
I called because I was confused about the expectations.
So now you're admitting that you called and were
about
confused.
men.
Right, exactly. But when I asked you what you were confused about, that is when I had to put you on mute, because you were like, I ain't confused, I just stood on the other. All right, you know what? I appreciate you taking the time to call in. It's always a pleasure to have an XY chromosome person call in. I need you all to be more self-aware. I need you all to do that. You know, it's like you have got to soften yourself to deal with women. You've got to soften yourself a little bit, because you cannot speak to a woman the same way that you would speak to a man. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. You've got to soften yourself to have conversations with women, because we're not men. And if you like the things that women bring into a situation, you've got to be able to handle her like a woman. The way that you, when you're packing your groceries, you don't bring bread home in the same way that you bring home meat. You've got to handle bread differently.
My tone and my voice were the way that they were because of the confusion.
Right, but I didn't deserve that because you were confused.
Because what I hear is that there is a disruption in terms of gender roles. You're asking men to step out of traditional masculine roles and to be more sensitive, to be more open, be more emotional when it comes down to women.
Yes.
And I understand that. But most men are not conditioned that way. Most men are conditioned to be providers, protectors. They're not conditioned to cater solely, primarily, to the emotional condition of women. We do that in our own way. But what I hear from you're asking for something more. You're asking for something that demands something beyond than how that we have been socialized.
Exactly.
You're asking us to be more like women.
You know, in order to be able to have a successful relationship with women, you are going to have to soften yourself to be with a woman. You're going to have to soften yourself. You have to. And a man has to bring more to the table than just money. It's just not enough, because if money is listen, if you want to have a relationship with a woman, right? I'm going to tell this quick story, right? In 2012, there was this guy who was trying to court me, right? Except his courting was really kind of lackluster. He didn't dive fully into the courting, right? He wanted to try to have some sort of, he wanted to jump into sexual intimacy without building up emotional trust and all of that stuff, right? And he didn't want to have an emotional relationship. He wanted to try to have some sort of sexual relationship, which I wasn't interested in. I'm interested in having the full plate, the meat, the potatoes, and the veggies. Well, I don't eat meat, but let's say protein, starch, and veggies, right? And then this man's mother died. His mother died. And when his mother died, he called me. And when his mother died, he came on the phone with me, and he was upset that his mother died and all this, that, and the other. And he wanted someone to talk about the death of his mother. And I was working and busy at the time. In the same way that he did not invest in our relationship emotionally, I was not there for him when his mother died. I wasn't. He needed to go find a woman who he had invested in emotionally to be there for him when his mother was dead. So there are a lot of men who set up their life so that if they got to go into the hospital, ain't nobody there to come visit them. If their mother dies, ain't nobody there to comfort them. So yes, today, if a man wants to be in a relationship with a woman, because if he has money, he can pay for a maid to come and clean his house. If he has money, he can pay for a prostitute to come and have sex with him. But if he wants to build a relationship with a woman, then he is going to have to learn how to be in relationship with a woman. And him paying the majority of the bills is an added bonus to be able to help that woman be able to stay in her feminine. To be able to have this woman invest in him emotionally, to be there as a support system for him. Not as somebody who is the maid so that he could just take his underwear, skid marks, and all and kick them off on the floor. Without even putting them into a hamper, so that by the time the nighttime comes, she's worn out. And then he's expecting for her to bust it open for him anytime he wants, but she's worn out. What is it that needs to happen in your particular household in order for your woman to be able to give you the gifts that she naturally has? That, I hope, answers the confusion.
I agree with you. I'm with you 100%. But the only caveat I would have is this, is that most men take a risk in terms of opening themselves up to women.
Okay.
Because when men become vulnerable, you have women who read their vulnerability as weakness, as softness, as something to be taken advantage of. And so it takes a special kind of relationship between a man and a woman for a man to be open the way in which you are saying that you think a man should be open. Most men keep that side, that soft, vulnerable side, under control, under management, because they know that if they expose it to the wrong person, it can be abused, it can be manipulated. That's why we are not that way. That's why we don't give you all the kind of emotionality that you are articulating.
Yeah, I think we're talking about two very different things. We're talking about a household, because what we're talking about is a man paying the bills and also helping and also participating in the upkeep of the home, not just adding on additional inconsiderate burdens. So if you want to talk about dating, and we're talking about a cohesive household where a man is paying the majority of the bills. and also doing his part not to be an extra added filthy burden. So that if that's what we're talking about, that's very different.
No, but shouldn't that be worked out prior to you establishing a household with somebody?
Shouldn't what be worked out? I don't understand how you get I don't understand how you get into a marriage with a person.
I mean, why would you enter into a household with someone who does not have the kind of emotional tools that you think that he needs in order to satisfy the psychological needs that you have? Why would you do that? Why would you wait until you were in a household with someone who is emotionally closed and then make these demands that he cater to your needs in the kind of way in which you think that he needs to do?
You know, there's a lot of different reasons. I don't know if you saw the show that was on before this one, right? The show before this one, we talked about why women are blamed for being single. There are a lot of women out there who are so in love with the idea of having a relationship that they put up with a lot of things that are just not sustainable. They put up with a lot of things that aren't sustainable, but forever is a very long time. And when those months and years start rolling in and she's burnt out, her thyroid is all effed up, she gained all this weight from the stress, cortisol levels out of control, she can't sleep at night, and now she's thinking about having an affair. You know, there's a lot of reasons why people put up with things that just are not sustainable. There's a lot of people at jobs. There's a lot of people who are working jobs that don't resonate with them. Why does a person stay in a job? There's something about that job that they need, and they put up with it. And they put up with it as long as they can until their hair is falling out, muscles atrophied, and they just and they're going bonkers.
But all of that takes self-awareness, right? When you know what you don't need, when you know the kind of relationship that will sustain you and will cater to your mentality and cater to you at a very deep level, when you are self-aware, that impacts your relationship. So I think that there is work not just on the part of men, but there's also work on the part of women to becoming more clear about who they are and what they need, and the demand for them to be more articulate to the men that they're involved with.
You know what?
About what it is that they really need.
Unfortunately, men just really aren't listening. They don't listen. That's why they call it nagging. A woman having to repeat herself over and over, they call it nagging. But she's had to repeat herself. That's what it actually is. That men just aren't listening. There was a man who I tried to tell him last week I was not interested in him, that I was not attracted to him. And he continued to, in the conversation, just brush aside what it is that I was saying. There was a man, because I was doing surveys all last week on this topic that I was researching, and there was this man who was trying to come on to me during the survey, and I told him I was not interested, and he didn't even bother to even freaking listen to the words that I was saying out of my mouth as I told him I was not interested. There's some men who just don't freaking listen. You talk to them, and it goes in one ear and out the other, and you all know me. I'm very clear when I talk. I do not mince words, and I don't sugarcoat. I told him I was not attracted to him, and I was not interested in pursuing anything with him. And he still continued, oh, you fighting it. You fighting it. You know, you got to learn to let go and have fun. And I said, listen, I have no issues letting go and having fun. I know what it is that I like and what I don't like. And I'm not interested in you. And he still continued. And then when you start talking about self-aware, I don't think that you are in any position to talk about anybody else being self-aware, Brian, because need I remind you how you came on this phone call and how we got into our little argument when you started saying that you were not confused and you tried to puff up at me. Listen, we've been on for over 20 minutes, so I'm going to let you jump off the line. I really appreciate you calling in. They want to know how old you are. The people in the audience want to know your age.
I'm over 40. I'm 47.
Okay, so they said that they thought you were about 50. All right. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, so the phone lines are open. Yeah, you see, Lee is saying they be ready to kill when a woman says no. It's like if people are asking why don't women speak up and be very clear? Women talk to men, and they don't listen any damn way. It's like make sure that your computer is turned down and that you're ready to go on air when I come back to you. The research that I was doing is on why men continue to be in relationships with women when the women say that they want a relationship and the man knows that he doesn't want a relationship. Why does he continue to be in that relationship and receive the gifts that she's giving in that relationship if he knows that he doesn't want a relationship? And the men were talking about, women, they don't listen, they this, they don't that. And in the very same surveys that I was given, I was telling this man I was not interested in him, that I had no sexual interest in him whatsoever, et cetera, et cetera. And he wasn't listening to me. And so it's like, in the same breath, men are talking about, women don't listen. But how many times have you told a man, listen, I'm not interested in intercourse. I'm not interested in you trying to come on to me. I really only just want to watch the movie. I'm not coming over for any of that. And they don't listen. They still go and have their own damn agenda anyway. So there's no moral high ground over there for them to be talking about women don't listen when they have hearing problems they damn selves. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa. So what is your comment?
So I want to say when I first saw the title of your live, it just reminded me of, also when you said like the story of the frog and the Scorpio carrying it across the river or the pond, it reminded me of this particular case. You've probably heard of it. It was called the Betty Broderick story.
No.
And overall, it was a really famous case. It was pretty much, long story short, there was this white woman who was married to her husband. She pretty much put her career on the back burner, paid him or helped him get through, law school, helped him, got married, had all his children. She quit her career. And he ended up going off and cheating with, some young secretary. And she actually ended up killing him. This was like a really long time ago, so the case isn't as popular.
Oh, my.
But, I think overall the reason why women don't benefit really from marriage is in regard to the last couple, well, men are led by their egos. They're just so wrapped up in themselves. They literally can't see past themselves. And in regards to, like you said, with the men or the man who was, you gotta let go. That's another common thing. Yet again, the almighty male ego. They just refuse to just think that maybe they could be wrong, think maybe they could do better, to think maybe that they could listen, or just they're not wired to think that way. They are wired to, ego first, and that's it.
Well. All right. Well, thank you for that comment. I don't have any, I got nothing to say. You said it all. Anything else you want to add? Because you said it.
I think it also applies to, I'm sorry?
No, I said, is there anything else you want to say? Because you said it.
Oh, I think it applies to all age groups. I think that's what the whole, I guess you could say all the generations are struggling with. I'm only 23, but I feel like when I look around like my family and stuff, I really think that that's the issue with men. They just ego first.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling in. We appreciate your point of view.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I got to go look up that story, but it sounds like one that we've heard one too many times. And look, she gained 80 pounds. This is what I'm saying, all the stress. I'm going to come to you in one moment. Make sure that your computer is turned down and that you're ready to go on the air when I come back to you. So it's like, we end up stressing ourselves out in these situations. Men think that they listen when they really don't. And they think that they know themselves when they really don't. And then they're always wanting to point some fingers at women and what women could be doing, but they're not looking at themselves. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
Hi, Tonya. This is Drea from North Carolina. How are you?
Hi, Drea.
I was just listening to your conversation, and it was funny. I belong in this group online on Facebook, an empath group, and I had just posted an article that talks about, relationships between men and women, and why men tend to want to get into relationships. They want the benefits of the relationship without the responsibility. That's basically what it is. And an excerpt from this article says that relationships are good for narcissists because they can provide positive attention and sexual satisfaction. But they are bad in that they demand emotional intimacy and restrict attention and sexual satisfaction from other partners. The ideal solution for narcissists, and they use narcissists, commitment phobes, kind of interchangeably. So they're talking about narcissists, but you can also put this towards commitment phobes or emotionally unavailable men, which is what I think we're also talking about.
Okay.
The ideal solution for narcissists is to find a way to receive the benefits of a relationship without having to endure the cost.
Okay.
To have their cake and eat it too, so to speak. They would be careful to keep this relationship from becoming too intimate or emotionally close, lest they lose control.
Okay.
Finally, narcissists would covertly seek out other potential romantic partners, offering narcissists an easy transition to another relationship if their current relationship ends. And this is an article on Psych Central called Commitment Phobic Narcissist Seduction, Withholding, and Love Triangles. And it talks about a lot of, different aspects of a commitment phobe. But basically, that's what I hear you talking about. Men want the benefits of a relationship, but they don't want the responsibility of a relationship. And they get away with this because, unfortunately, we women have allowed it. Because they can't get away with it if we don't say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to give you girlfriend or wifey benefits if you're not going to be able to be committed to a relationship. And so, as you said, a lot of times it's not only that the man is not listening, it is also that the woman is settling.
Yes.
Because we don't settle for the BS, then they can't do the BS with us. And yes, you have to get to a point, I had to get to a point in my life where I was comfortable with not settling. If that means I'm going to be alone and happy, then I'd rather be alone and happy than miserable in a relationship with someone who is emotionally unavailable, but using the relationship title as a carrot dangling in front of me, that hopefully one day soon he's going to be able to be committed, when it's the setup. It's the setup. Because, someone who's emotionally unavailable, who doesn't want a relationship, and especially when they come out in the beginning and tell you that, they know where they are. And without doing particular types of work on themselves to work through whatever it is that is causing that emotional unavailability in them, that's never going to change. You can't love them out of that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women think we can. That's not your job.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what? But I'm sure you can understand, because women are socialized to, not only are women socialized to, but there are larger receptors in the brain for relationships. So women are hardwired to want to make relationships work, even with other women. you know, with other people, wanting to make relationships work, being intuitive about different people's how they're feeling, being able to look at a person's face or sense their energy to see how it matches up with their words. So listen, go ahead and thumbs up this video. My Cash App is $TonyaTKO. Go ahead and drop that love in the Cash App. We appreciate it. We are broadcasting live right now, and we are on the line with the young lady who is talking about narcissists and relationships and how they benefit. So I am Tonya TKO. I am a self-love specialist. I've written a book on Amazon called The Book of Affirmations of Love. The links are below. My website is TonyaTKO.com, TonyaTKO.com. And on there you can find ways to get the book, to also become a monthly supporter, and to be able to drop me mail and join my mailing list. Okay, the Cash App is just my name with a $sign in front of it, so it's TonyaTKO. So 123 Creations, can you type in the Cash App? It's also inside of the description of the video. So go ahead, finish up what it is that you're saying, and then we're going to jump to the next call.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so I believe, especially in the way we are in our culture and the way women are brought up, you're absolutely right. There is a cultural thing, there is an emotional thing, there is chemistry and biology that goes into that. But we have to get to a point that we don't work against ourselves. Because you cannot love somebody into not being a narcissist, not being a commitment phobe, not being a toxic person, not being a cheater. That's not your job. That is the job of person to recognize those aspects of themselves and to work on it. You know, a lot of times we try to do these things and we harm ourselves.
Yes.
So the more we empower ourselves to know, yes, I have this biology, I have this thinking, this way that I want to be in relationships, but I'm not settling for anything.
All right.
You know, I'm not going to do that. And, you know, that's how we empower ourselves. So thank you
so much. Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
All right. So, you know what? These calls are getting deep, and I think it's good for us to pull back the layers and really look at what's going on out there. So the Cash App is inside of the description of the video, but it's just my name with a $sign in front. It's just Tonya TKO. Make sure your computer is turned down and be ready when I come back to the phone, okay? So someone is saying that they're not settling. Sounds like a single woman venting hotline. My cousin is in that situation right now. I don't even feel like I'm me sometimes. Most men are emotionally unavailable. Listen, are most men emotionally unavailable? That is a question that we can ask. Are most men emotionally unavailable? And if so, why? You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name?
This is 123 Creations again.
Hi, I asked you to type in my my Cash App in the comments.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did it twice.
Oh, okay. I need you all to keep posting it so that people can be able to send their love through, because there's 500 people on this broadcast, and let's see. I'm looking for the Cash Apps. I want to see some Cash Apps come through. All right, Callie. So talk to me. What's going on?
Well, okay. Well, I'd like to just comment on the man that called in earlier. That was kind of snappy.
Girl.
One thing I thought was interesting, what he said was, I can't quote him word for word, but basically it was like he felt like it was taking a risk for him to, I guess, be vulnerable with a woman.
Yes.
And I find that interesting because it's like, if anything, women, we're taking the most risk, you know?
Yes.
And he was talking about being a man and, you know, how you want men to be is really a woman, and, you know, and it's like, no, you can't come at us like you would come at a man,
Exactly.
you know? And what you were trying to explain to him is there's being a man and then there's being a gentleman, okay? And that's what men need to learn how to be with women. You can be a quote unquote man with your boys,
Yes.
right? But when you're talking with a woman, you need to be a gentleman,
Yes.
okay? That you're not asking him to be a woman, and that's this, you know, toxic. And I usually don't say these terms, but that's that toxic masculinity that they haven't taught how to be a gentleman with dealing with women. It's like, do you not have a sister? Do you not have a mother? You know, you don't talk to your mother or your sister like you talk to your brother. You know, there's a difference. And it's just like, did you not have those experiences growing up, or did you not have a female cousin, or did you, you know, wrestle your cousin, your female cousin, like you'd wrestle your brother? No.
So you know what?
You were taught.
I feel like I have to interject right here because I just need to say this. So just bear with me for a moment, right? Let me just say first,
No problem.
let me give a thank you to Chiquita Archie for the $10. Thank you. And a thanks to Kat JC Cubs for the $10. Thank you. I appreciate the love. Oh, and we got Ayana Mingo with the $10. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the cash apps are coming through. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you all are here appreciating the live and sending that appreciation through. That makes me feel good. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna say this, right? And this goes to men especially who are out there listening, right? And to the man who called in earlier, Brian, right? I think what a lot of men have to understand is that what goes on in the privacy of your own home is between you and your woman. There is no, it's like far too many men have other men in their heads while they're in relationship. They're like, oh, I can't do this because it'll make me look soft. Make you look soft to whom? It's like when it comes to sex, you know, so it's like, so men understand the theory of being a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets, right? So yes, you could be however hard man you want to be out there in the streets. But when you come into the sheets, there's nothing wrong with rubbing your woman's feet, sucking that punani till the sun comes up. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with being soft for your woman. There's nothing wrong with that. What happens in your home is between you two. So get all of these other men out of your head, because it's like men want us to take all the risk. They want us to open wide, like how Jill Scott said, spread your legs from continent to continent. They want you to open wide and just dive deep inside of you. And they want you to be able to take all of the risk without them softening and opening themselves. And so it's like one thing that men have to keep in mind is you got to get all of these other men out of your heads and be there with that one woman in that one moment of time and love her in the way that that woman needs to be loved. Whether you got to do a dance, even if it's in a thong. Do what you gotta do to please that
you're
woman.
not fucking your boys.
Exactly.
At the end, unless you are.
Well,
but you know, at the end of the day, you know, that's not the goal, hopefully. But you know, they're boys. You know, think about even how they say it. Those are my boys, because you're a boy. You know.
Listen. Somebody is saying he will not crawl on me without eating the punani. You know what? I find that when a man is in a long-term relationship, a lot of these things start slipping. And the next thing you know, foreplay goes out the window. Women, can we do a vote? What would I think we'll just do 4 and 5, right? If in a long-term relationship, if that foreplay starts slipping, yes, put up 4. If it does not slip and he's giving you the same foreplay that he did when you all were dating, put up a 5. Put up a 4 if it started slipping. Put up a 5 if it maintained the same ferocity. Oh, so honey's saying it maintained. And how long is this relationship, honey? Because I find that it dwindles over time, and then the next thing you know, they think foreplay is ripping the towel off of themselves and exposing their dangling genitalia. That's the foreplay. They rip off the towel and you get to see their man meat hanging down low. And you're supposed to be like, ooh, I'm instantaneously wet.
Right.
So go ahead,
So,
Callie. Yeah, I cut you off.
no, it's fine. Something that the last caller, when she was reading off something, gave me an idea to read something from this book that I have, and it's called "What Every Woman Should Know About Men."
Okay.
It's by Bishop Bernard Jordan.
Oh God.
It's really good though.
Is it? Hold on for 1 second. Let me just give thanks real quick. I don't know, a book by a bishop. So thank you to Leisha for the $10. Sorry, I got disconnected for a quick second. So thank you to Karina for the $10, and thank you to A. Marie for the $10. Nia, thank you, Nia X for the $10. Okay, go ahead, Callie. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So there's different stages to being a man.
Okay.
And he explains that there's malehood, and that's the infantile stage of growth and development. Then there's a boy's world, and then there's the essence of a man, and then there's the call to husbandhood, and then there's the father, the epitome of manhood. So there's those stages, and sometimes, men are, 45, 50, not saying any names, and you think, oh, they should be a father. They might be a father, but mentally they're just a male, Yes. They're at an infantile stage.
Yes.
So, for example, he says, a boy is selfish. He is totally preoccupied with his wants and his needs. He is consumed with the pleasures of self-gratification. He takes care of himself without regard for anyone else. Ladies, don't marry a boy. He is totally incapable of understanding or meeting your needs. You'll never be primary on this person's agenda. He will, just when the rent is due. When the rent is due, your boy will come through the door sporting a new $700 suit while you're still shopping at the local rummage sales.
Oh Lord. You know what? Come to my website and send me a link to this book. I want to take a look. Okay, come to my website, TonyaTKO.com. Click on contact and send me a link.
Basically, I will. But basically, it just shows you the different levels of thinking of certain men. And it's like I said about being a gentleman. It's like they don't realize that they have to come at us completely different. And it's like, there's this weird macho thing going on that they don't even want to try to, some of them don't even want to try to connect with us. It's like, sex starts before you get in the bed. It starts with opening the car door. It starts with pulling out the chair. It starts with seeing how I'm doing. It starts with, it starts prior to all of that, But if I don't know, I just wanted to put that out there, that being a gentleman isn't being a man. Isn't being a woman. You're not asking a man to be a woman. And if you're not in the space to be vulnerable enough to do that with a woman, then keep your hands to yourself, figuratively and literally.
Oh, they won't.
And get some Johnsons and be done with it.
They won't.
Or get a stripper. A prostitute.
They won't. They won't, because the game is, how do you get a non-working girl to give you what it is that you want without you having to pay for it each time, being transactional. So, yes. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. We appreciate it.
And I will send you the link to the book. It's a small book. It's really a fast read, and it's good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. So the phone lines are open. And thank you for everyone who sent the cash apps through. Go ahead and throw those thumbs up. We're only going to be doing 15 more minutes so that this is a 2-hour video. So we did 2 hours earlier. We've come back out and have done 2 more hours. So this is 4 hours broadcasting live. This is the Tonya TKO After Dark version of our broadcast. We're probably going to take one more phone call. And then after the phone call, we're going to wrap it up. And then I'm just going to give my closing. And I'm going to read some comments and then we're going to say goodbye. So one more phone call and then we're going to be out after that. So yes, listen, there's a lot to be said. And you know what? Unfortunately, let me say this because there's a lot of, I think there's some confusion that exists out there, right? Because little black girls are socialized when it comes to the whole emotions and stuff like that. Little black girls are socialized much in the same way that little black boys are, you know. And so when that caller Brian called in and he's like, "Oh, you want us to be vulnerable and show our emotions and all this other stuff," black girls are not taught that they could cry whenever the hell they want to cry. If anything, they get the tears beat the hell right out of them too. You know what I'm saying? Let's do a survey. The numbers are going to be 6 and 7. Let's do a survey. If you are a black woman, right, and as a little girl, you were told that you could not cry, that you should not cry, that you better not cry, right? I want you to put up a 6. So 6 is that you were told that you could not, better not, should not, will not cry, right? That's a 6. If you were allowed to cry anytime that you needed to and just be, you know, the cute, fluffy little girl, put up a 7. Put up a 7. Those are the numbers. And this is only for black women. The majority of the numbers that are coming in are 6. So it's like these black men come out here and they act like we have had, you know, emotional abandon, where we have just been able to just be free flowing with our tears, like we were cuddled and coddled. Like we were able to just be the soft little princesses that could just run into our daddy's arms and daddy would hold us on his big, my father told me, "Oh, your eyes leaking water." He said, my father even used to come to me talking about that I ain't gonna be there with my eyes always leaking water. That's what my father would tell me. I wasn't allowed to sit down there and be like, oh, I didn't have that luxury. So now we're coming into a situation where now the men are acting like they've been done some great damn injustice. And I'm like, weren't you in the household with girls too? Didn't you have female cousins? Did you see them in their little dress with the high white knee socks and the little petticoat and the hair and the little Shirley Temple curl jumping onto some big man's shoulder and being able to just cry away? No, you didn't see that happening in your damn household either. So how is it that we now come into adulthood and we start pretending as if we don't know what we know? What we had seen with our own eyes. You know what I'm saying? Because exactly what Christelle is saying, I was told to stop with the crocodile tears. Maya is saying, my mom once got mad at my uncle's wife for telling me I could cry. She said my mother never let me cry, so she can't either. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of pent up, unreleased emotion in the black community. Oh, Ivana has decided to grace us with her presence. And so Slight was told she cried too much and was too emotional. So it's like, we all have to work on healing these traumas. We all have to work on finding a space in which we can be okay. And when we're in these relationships, when we're in these intimate relationships, and it's like, as a woman, I can't cry in front of just anybody. I can't allow anybody to get into the tender recesses of my heart. So it's like this man is acting like, Ivana's saying, stop all that crying before I give you something to cry about. You see what I'm saying? So then you get threatened with violence. You're over there crying, and then you're being threatened with violence in a response to your crying. So it's like he's coming out talking about, we just can't let anybody into because then we get told this, that, and the other. How many of you, let me ask the black women out there, we did 5 and 6, right? Oh no, we did 6 and 7. So let's do 8 and 9. Let's do 8 and 9, right? Black women, this is a survey for black women, okay? If you can just open up your heart and be emotional and vulnerable in front of just any man, put up the number 8. If you can be open and vulnerable in front of just any man, put up the number 8. If you have to pick it, or any woman, if you have to pick and choose who you allow to be vulnerable in front of, put up a number 9. Because people are acting like we live in some sort of utopia. People acting like we live in some sort of utopia where as black women, we're able to just be soft in front of anybody. And this was the same man who I had to get into my masculine to raise my voice at on the phone, where I had to regulate on the phone to get him to calm the hell down. You know what I'm saying? And this is the person, these are the people I'm supposed to be vulnerable in front of? When you come on the line using profanity, look, look, these are the numbers. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9s. And Global is saying 9 and I'm introverted. Precisely. And Portia is saying 9 because you have haters and can't trust anyone. Well, I do believe that there are people that you can't trust, right? I believe that there are people that you can trust, but you have to vet these people. It's not like as some man, see, and then this is the thing, that men just are not seeming to get it. It's like you want to come in off the street and just go throw down your heart meat in front of anybody, and you can't do that. You can't just go and throw down your heart in front of anybody. It's like you have to pick and choose who is able to see that side of you. You have to pick and choose who is able to get in there. It's like they want to come in off the streets and be like, here, I'm vulnerable, but they don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work by establishing a trusting relationship with a woman. Like that man who was trying to get me in bed and didn't want to invest in a real relationship. And then his mother died. And he tried to call me up after his mother died, trying to get some comfort and someone to talk to in his time of need. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, you're going to have to go to a woman who you have invested in that way with. Because it's like they don't see the use. They don't see the need for women in their lives. They don't see the use for you until they need some emotional healing or they need some trauma fix. And then all of a sudden, the same people that they were trying to use and wipe their ass with is the same people that they come over to trying to get some healing. And I'm like, no, sir. No, sir. Not over here, you don't. No, sir. No, sir. So we have 8 minutes left. I'm just going to read the comments and then we're going to, I'm turning off the phone lines. I'm just going to read the comments and then we are, where is my, here. And then we're just going to wrap it up from there. Remember, the Cash App is $Tonya TKO. I appreciate all of the love that you all have sent. How do you heal? You've got to take the time to invest in your own healing. There are many therapists who are working online. Some therapists are working via chat. You don't even have to go into the office anymore. You could work with a therapist through chat messaging. You could work with a therapist over phone, over Zoom. There are different levels. All you have to do is search online therapy. It's as simple as that. Because each person needs to heal. Each person owes it to themselves to do what it is that they need to do to live the best life possible for them. Each person. And so 123 is saying, I see my therapist every Thursday. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. And we all have childhood trauma. We all have childhood trauma. Oh, we only have 6 minutes left on the video. So let me sum this back up, because the title of this video is Why I Will Remain Single and Child-Free, right? Now listen, this is not a choice that is right for everybody. And I do want to have children, and You know, every woman has a biological clock. So every woman has to decide what is it that she is going to be willing to do in order to be able to have children. And so Ivana said, when did you decide to want to remain child-free? Now, that's a good question. I don't plan on being child-free for the rest of my life. I do want to be able to have a family. I'm not freezing my eggs. I think that's a choice that every woman has to make, right? And the quality of your eggs does deplete over the age of 35. So each woman has to make the decision that is right for her and live a lifestyle that is conducive for maintaining optimal health. That's all I'll say on that. You know, there's some people who need additional help and all this other stuff. And I think that people have to, just like when I said what happens in your bedroom between you and your man is between you and your man. What happens in your house between you and your man is between you and your man, between you and your girl. So if rubbing her feet is what she needs, or washing the dish or the spoon, or being right in that relationship, right? So when it comes to whether or not to have children and how to have children, each woman has to make that decision for herself. We had a woman on the last call who was saying that she had gotten pregnant from a man who didn't want to have anything to do with her, and she decided that she was going to keep the baby and become a single mother. That's the decision that she had to make, which is right for her. You know what I mean? Me personally, I'm not interested in being a single mother. I'm not interested in carrying around some man's offspring and having to try to beg the man to see the baby, or me have to take on the bulk of the load. And I don't have the interest in that. It's like I'm still holding out for the lottery. I'm holding out to hit the lottery. And I'm holding out to find a person who's going to be there with me and our offspring, and somebody who is the way I need them to be. So like I said in the beginning of this video, there's so many of us women out there who act like we're day-old potato salad that's been sitting in the sun, and we're afraid that we're going to go bad, and we need some man to pick us up and redeem us, right? And Ivana is saying she hates this biological clock. The biological clock is a blessing. The biological clock is one of the best things that has ever happened to women, because if we didn't have a biological clock, we would waste a lot of years on stupidness. But that biological clock is a wake-up call. That's why they call it a clock, because it ticks and there's an alarm. And when it starts ticking faster and louder, that is the indication to you that you cannot be doing the same fuck shit that you was doing before. That you can't be fucking around with dumbass people and wasting dumbass time like you did before. That you can't let yourself become emotionally invested. I was talking to this girl 2 days ago, right? And the girl was asking me, how can I separate, you know, where a man, where he is and what it is that I want. She asked me how I could separate that in order to be able to have certain types of relationships with men. And I said to her, listen, if I'm going to the store to pick up ingredients for a cake, and I know that I'm picking up ingredients for a cake, I'm not going to be in the barbecue sauce aisle. So, and I'm not going to get angry if I'm standing in the barbecue sauce aisle and I know that there's no cake ingredients in there. I'm not going to be standing up there screaming about why there's no flour and sugar inside the barbecue sauce aisle. So I think that it's up to each woman to know what it is that she's looking for. If you're looking for cake, go to the freaking cake aisle. Go to the damn aisle that they have baking needs. If you know that you're looking for a man and someone who's going to be the father of your children, why are you going down the aisle of players, pimps, and bros? Why are you going down that aisle? Come on now. Listen, the biological clock is an amazing, it's something amazing. And it's been it's a blessing for every woman. Otherwise, if we didn't have a biological clock, we'd still be having children at 60, 70, and we'd be like, oh, he said he ain't ready. He ain't ready. Come on, you ain't got no time for that. You don't have no time to be sitting around, rolling around, heartbroken at 40, talking about, oh, I'm gonna try one more. No, bitch, you get the hell on. You go find somebody who is ready. Don't go up don't be in the damn barbecue sauce aisle looking for cake ingredients. Go have conversations with people. This is why I said if I ask you questions, you don't want to answer the questions, it's a problem. And somebody's saying the aisle has empty shelves, well then go to a different store. If you listen, there's people out there swirling and there's people out there girling. If you know you don't want to be a single mother, right? You can, listen, men are giving away their sperm willy-nilly, and you could just go find yourself a woman to raise the child with. Listen, I'm saying. There's lots of alternatives. There's intercultural dating, there's interracial dating, there's in your gender dating. There's a lot of alternatives out there. There are a lot of alternatives out there. And it's up to you to decide what is the right choice for you. It's up to you to decide what it is that you're willing to do. So if you're going to a grocery store, like, listen, I'm going to say this because this is the After Dark episode and we've come upon 2 hours, so we're going to have to get out of there. One of the common themes that I'm seeing with Black men in particular in America, regardless of what their ethnic background is that there are many of them who feel that they are the prize and that a woman has to put up with all types of nonsense to be able to be with him because he feels that he is the prize. One man told me when I was doing my surveys, because he had this girl that he would not commit to for 4 years, and he was having sex with all types of women, hoes, hood rats, and thoughts for 4 years, right? Until one day she decided she couldn't take it anymore. Like I said, biological clock is a blessing, right? She realized she couldn't take it anymore. I'll tell you this much, right? This is the story that he told me, and I'm not judging him. I'm only repeating the story, right? He told me that the reason he decided to commit to her is because during the pandemic, she would drive an hour and a half from where she lived, that she would go grocery shopping once or twice a week, battling COVID-19 out in these streets, right? She would go out there battling it with her mask and gloves, scarf, all this stuff. Or she would go out battling once or twice a week, and she would drive an hour and a half from her house to his house to drop off groceries for him to make sure that he had groceries. And he said that when he looked around at all of the thoughts and all of the prettier women and all of the women who had better sex, again, go and thumbs up this video. All of those women were nowhere to be found, that they weren't doing that for him, right? And so he decided to bless her with commitment. And I said to him, I said, you know, it makes me very sad. I said, because while she was out there fighting COVID, right, and doing all of this to make sure that you had food, I was like, who was fighting for her? Who was protecting her? Who was protecting her? And this is what this man said to me. Listen, this is what the man said to me. He was like, well, you know, each woman has to decide what it is that she wants. He was like, I'm an educated man who's good looking. I'm physically fit. I have a lot of money. And he was like, I could find 100 of her. She finds one of me. Are you hearing what I said? He said I could find 100 of her. He either said 100 or 10. I was just so stunned. I think he said 100 because 10 is a reasonable number. He said I could find 100 of her before she could find one of me. And this just goes to show the state, the mental state that men are in. The mental state that they're in. How could you have a person drive an hour and a half in the middle of a pandemic? A woman. Who's protecting this woman? Driving an hour and a half to make sure that you have groceries. And he was saying, and I have grocery stores that are near me. And so there's a lot of black men out there that I see who think that they're the prize and that they're so hard to come by. And a lot of men they don't really have standards. So any woman will do for them. You know what I'm saying? Any woman will do. They'll just take any woman, and they can't really tell the difference. I was talking to men who was like, I was talking to men who was like, you know what? There just really isn't that much of a difference between women. He was like, it's going to be the same thing. It's kind of like, a Barbie doll. You pop off the head on one onto another. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? They can't really tell the difference. They were like, you're going to get the same thing. It doesn't really matter. You just have to choose the one that is more conducive with your life and the blah, blah, blah. And I was like, they don't even get it. They don't get it. That each woman has a unique vibration. Because there's so many men, like most men, like I'll ask you all this question. Women, so the numbers are going to be 10 and 11. Women, if you have a man, that one that got away, put up the number 10. If any relationship that ended you knew was not the right relationship for you, put up the 11. If you have that one that got away, that you knew that was the right one for you, and something you just messed up, and he just got away, put up the number 10. So look, I see all of the 11s coming through. Right? Now you ask men that question, right? And almost every man has that one that got away. You know why? Because he was too stupid. To see and appreciate what is before him. He was too unaware to appreciate that this woman was different than other women. That this woman is more of a match for him. But most men just don't even, they don't think that there's anything special about you who's here right now. They're like, oh, I'll just find another one when I'm ready. They'll be like, I'll just find another one. I'll find one that's younger. It'll be the same thing. I'll find a younger model, like a car. I'll just get a newer model because they're all the same. Listen, am I lying? There's a lot of men out there who will try to deny what it is that I'm saying, but am I lying? I ain't lying. They're like, oh, I'll find a 20-year-old. I want a 25-year-old. Oh, I'm going to get me a 20-year-old, a 21, 19. I'm going to get an 18-year-old. Big grown-ass men. And it's like in their idiocy, they don't even realize. Listen, in their idiocy, they don't even realize. They don't realize that this particular woman is different, that she's a gift, that it's kismet. They don't realize. They feel it, they know it, but they're just not aware enough to really take advantage of it. And Nia is saying, yeah, and the 20-year-old leaves their butt. But the thing is that they don't have enough in common with the 20-year-old. They out there trying to play Jodeci and some Silk, and the 20-year-old is like playing Fetty Wap and playing Future. Even Drake is old for a 20-year-old. They not listening to that shit. They playing Megan Thee Stallion. They playing these new artists, and his old ass don't know who they are. And he up there talking about, freak me, baby. Oh yeah. Freak me, baby. Oh yeah. And he over there doing the what's that woman's name with the blonde hair who sang Real Love? He's over there, Mary J. Blige. She's over there doing the Mary J. Blige moves in the club. And she's up there listening to trap music, and he's doing his two-step with his pointed shoes and pleated pants. And he just doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. You know what I'm saying? Ivana says she's joking. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. He doesn't get it. He thinks that all he has to do, and then his older penis cannot compete with younger penis. And it's like they're just not in tune. They're not in tune with their shortcomings. They're not. They're not. No, and for the most part, younger girls do not want these older men. They don't. But, you know, these older men are willing to spend all of this money, you know, trying to woo some younger girl. But listen, we've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and you know this was only supposed to be an hour broadcast, but we went over. And so let me just thank the cash apps that have come through. More Jorian. Wow, thank you for the $30. Phoenix sent 1111. 3 black hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Lesline says she sent me something between the videos, so I have to respond to all of those. Thank you. When you all send me money into my Cash App, I use that for groceries, to feed and nourish me, because I have a Cash App debit card. So when I go to the grocery store, I use my Cash App card. So you all help buy my groceries. So I appreciate that. I really do. So thank you all. Thank you. I really, truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So I will see you all. Do I think Corona will negatively affect dating now? You know, I think COVID actually, you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about because listen, COVID has been an amazing time for women to make some money. Listen. I'm not even just talking about OnlyFans. I'm talking about, this has been an amazing time for women to be able, because you know, listen, men, they need your feminine energies, and they need you. They need you. And they don't have the ability to be out there, so they inside of their home and they need you. This is the time for you to get a car bought for you. Okay. Listen, this is the time for you to get everything that you want. This is the time. Yes, Caressa. Okay, yes, there are many different ways to support the show. The Cash App is what I use to buy groceries with. However, you can also send money to PayPal. The link is below inside the description of this video. You can also go over to TonyaTKO.com/support. And when you go to TonyaTKO.com/support, you're able to either give a one-time donation or contribute monthly. So it's right there on my website. If you go to TonyaTKO.com and you click on the support tab, you can contribute that way. And I do not do super chat at all, because super chat, YouTube takes 45% of that and gives the creator 55%. So no, I don't do super chat, because I know that if there's somebody who's sending me $100, I know that they want $100 to go to me, not 45 of it go to YouTube. Can you imagine? Yes, YouTube takes 45%. Yes. So that's why I don't do super chat. You can also buy the Self-Love Affirmations workbook on Amazon. And so those are the 3 ways that you can support. The links are down in the description. But yeah, the COVID and the pandemic has been really good for dating. It has been really good for dating. And I hope that you all are spending the time to get to know some of these men, having deep conversations with them, because now they don't have any damn excuse to try to run from talking. You know what I'm saying? So yes. All right, I'll see you all in the next video. We need to talk about dating and the COVID virus. Exactly. So Google owns YouTube. They're rich already. And I don't want to badmouth these companies, right? But Facebook, the stars, the Facebook stars that you pay for, they give the creator 1 cent. 1 penny. I don't get the greed. So no, I don't like having white men in between me and my money. So I don't do it. So Talam sent me $10 and said, lovely show, Tolumide. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So yes. Yes. Okay, so Ivana wants to meet some people in public. You go right on ahead. Some of the COVID is lightening up. As you see, I'm getting ready to travel myself. So I'm getting ready to get back out there into the world and head back to California and continue living. You know what I mean? So now is about the time that people are starting to come back out. I'm going back to Cali. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I've already begun the journey. I've already begun the journey. Like right now, I'm not in New York, but I've begun the journey to start tying up loose ends and doing things, seeing people and all that. Go ahead and thumbs up this video. And I will see, go to the bookstore. Yo, do what you need to do out there. All right, so listen, I'm going to jump off of here. I will see you all in the next video. Make sure that you're on my mailing list. If you go to TonyaTKO.com/subscribe, or you just go to TonyaTKO.com, click on subscribe, and you can go ahead and subscribe that way. All right, so listen, thank you all. We're getting ready to get out of here. So good night, everyone. Good night. Good night, Reef. I'll say good night to the first few people who say good night. So good night, Reef 219. Good night, Gypsy. Good night, 1111. Good night, Kimon. Good night, Lady Flawless. Good night. Good night, Leslie. Good night, Tori. Good night, Jamaica. Good night, LS. Good night, Tanya. Good night, Mrs. Bunny. Good night, Piece of Candy. Good night, Whitney Soldier. Christelle. Good night, Jay Bentley. Good night, Tolu. Thank you for the Cash App. Good night, Love D. Good night, Sister Scorpio. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Good night, everyone. Good night. I will see you all in the next video. Look how pretty I look. I love when my hair is down. I love it. I gotta cut the back because it's too long. My pandemic hair grew longer than I want it to be. But I don't even recognize myself. I feel like I look like a whole completely different person. I forgot this Tonya TKO. So, somebody said I look smoldery. Oh, and that's without the smoky eye. All right now. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So good night, everyone. Good night, good night, good night. Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen myself like this. I don't even recognize myself. I feel so different. Good night, everyone. Good night, good night, good night. Good night. I feel like my skin looks super light. Let me turn this light on because where's my chocolatiness? I don't, okay, I see some chocolate. I see some caramel. I see some caramel. All right. Good night, everyone. Good night, good night. Thank you for coming through. Make sure that you are on my mailing list. Good night, good night. Reef wants to get her locks tightened. Good night, everyone. Good night.